I know I keep threatening you with short episodes, but this really might be a short episode because all we have left are finished objects. So, hi everybody, welcome to the show. Today is episode 66. This is February finished objects, right? It's March 2nd. We're recording on March 2nd. It is 42 degrees outside. I am outside of the Cleveland, Ohio area, so I'm shocked that the snow has melted. It's nice to, not have snow everywhere. The cat, the kitten, the big dog, Ripley is here, and Lola is here too. So there will be a ruckus, as usual. So today we're going to go over all of the items that we finished this month, and some of them were holdovers that we didn't finish in January. I also have a change of plans for dye project. We're still doing dye projects. We're still doing the Hawthorne Tonal Shawl dye project. I am just dyeing some other things as well. Again, we'll get into that when we get into it. I don't want to talk about it before we're there because then I got to repeat myself and I'll forget what I already said. Any updates? I don't think there's any updates. Let's just say I don't have any fosters, and I don't know when I'm getting my next one. I haven't heard yet. So no cats yet. Oh my God. I already saw one of my fellow neonatal fosters had a newborn litter of five found in a colony the mom just dumped, and it was like the middle of February, and I'm like, I'm not ready yet. It's too early for kitten season. So usually I have kittens from probably late March, early April, until usually my last ones are gone by like Thanksgiving. I think that's the latest I've ever had kittens were Thanksgiving, and I only keep them until they are weaned. So I have them until they're 5 to 6 weeks of age, and then they move on. And like I've said before, in my state where I live, Ohio, you cannot adopt or sell a kitten that is under 8 weeks old. Our cutoff is 8 weeks. Has to be at least 8 weeks old to be, to leave its care, which is us or the mom. So anyway, I haven't gotten any kittens yet. I'm kind of hoping that they wait a while because it's a lot of work. So what are we talking about today? Oh, right, finished objects. So, I have one whip. So let's do that first. I have one whip that I started yesterday, the first, and it is our top. And you're like, oh, why didn't you start the half a Cardi? I'm going to tell you in a minute why I didn't. So this is this will be this side, I think. Yeah, I think maybe. Yes, because this is where the end gets woven in here. So this will be this side. This is this side of it. This is the Andes worsted. This is marble heather, 100% Peruvian Highland wool. So I started that. This is all I got done last night. I didn't have a lot. I didn't get a lot done. I was blocking at everything yesterday. It was ridiculous. Okay, so I mentioned that I am adding on to dye project this month. And why I haven't started the half a Cardi is, do you remember this Mirasol Kina? I think it said Kina. Qina. Kina. This is discontinued. I'm sorry to show you discontinued yarn that you can't get anymore. So this is 80% baby alpaca and 20% bamboo. So there's only 20% of this fiber that's not going to take my dye. But because it got gray, I'm thinking I can probably make this black. Or at least a darker gray, like maybe a charcoal gray. Because I was thinking this, I'm making this specifically to wear with these tops that I wear. And this is going to be a staple item in my wardrobe. And you know what I mean by staple, right? Where it's going to get a lot of wear. It's going to be a main item. So this is going to be like a shrug that I can wear under these tops that I make. Over these tops that I make, especially when I go into like spring and fall. Because this is nice, but it does not keep my arms from being cold. So I wanted something that would cover my arms so my arms aren't cold. So I've chosen this, and I'm hoping I can get a good black or at least a darker gray. So I think the 80-20, I don't think the 20 is going to be that much of a hindrance. Maybe I should do one to see. I don't know. So I think I'm going to try to get black or charcoal. I'm going to put it in a pot, obviously, because when I do black, it's just going to be put in a pot, just kettle dyed, easy, for as full a coverage as we can get on this. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do one hand. Knowing me, I'm going to throw all 6.5 or 7. How many of these do I have? 7 hanks, I think. I'm going to throw 7 into a pot and just cross my fingers and hope it works out okay. I've never dyed, I've dyed alpaca if it was with merino. I had a merino nylon alpaca. Actually, I think it's merino alpaca nylon is probably the percent, the greatest to least percentage of fiber content in that. So, and I dyed those black. They came out great, but I'm kind of attributing that to the nylon because nylon is magical. So there's no nylon here, so these are just natural fibers. So again, I would heat up to a lower temperature because I for sure do not want to ruin this at all. So I would just keep upping, the temperature by like 5 or 10 degrees until I could get the water to clear. So I'm thinking of I really want this to be black is my problem, and this is the only yarn I have that I have just less, because I either have a sweaters quantity or I have like 2 skeins. So this is the only thing that is less than a sweaters quantity but more than 2 skeins. So I can get sleeves and a cropped Cardi out of this. But I didn't want to do a gauge swatch until I dyed this. So I'm actually thinking I might dye this today. Like when I'm done filming, it's kind of late in the day. I should probably do it tomorrow. Okay, anyway, that's one thing. The other thing is I've had this on, and I don't know if you can tell. Watch me hit everything. But it keeps doing this. Like it's rolling up right here, and it's driving me bonkers, like absolutely bonkers. I also did not cut the ends off any of these. So I'm thinking of, since we're probably going to end early this month, we're probably going to get through everything we have to get through early. Oh, I remember I want to redo this with this neckline and do raglan sleeves. Well, I was talking about these a couple episodes ago where I said I had 2 skeins from Knitcrate that were complementary but did not match, and I didn't know what to do with them. These are Knitology worsted, 100% superwash merino wool. So superwash, worsted weight 225 yards, 100 grams. Okay, so these were by Brooklyn Boy Knits. They came in and dyed, and it was a cool idea. It's just I don't like blue, and I got blue. Sure did get blue. And I don't really feel, I mean, what do the blues match? It's literally, no, it doesn't. Yeah, these blues don't match here. No, they don't match, because this one is like a tealy blue, and then this is like a blue blue. So the blues don't even match each other. And I don't like the colors. I just don't like the colors. So I was thinking I could dye these blacks. What am I going to do with these? I don't like the color. So I decided I'm going to dye these black, and we'll do this, which means you're not going to see it. Means when I show it to you, you're not going to see it. I was going to redo the alpaca, that's the mint green, but that was a top once, so it has starts and stops. And I think I have some leftover, but I don't know. I couldn't find the leftover, so I'm not sure where it is. So this, I have 2 hanks that have not unused, so there's only 2 beginnings and 2 ends, like that's it. So I thought this would be easier to do. Plus superwash means it won't shrink when I do it. It won't felt when I do it, because it is 100%. And I think I tend to shrink those down if I do 100%. But it's superwash, so that shouldn't happen. So since I'm going to have extra time, like right now, I have nothing to work on because we have 3 projects, right? We have the half a Cardi, we have dye projects, and the top. And 2 of those are now going to be dyed because I was supposed to already start this. This is what I was going to work on until then. And now I'm not, because I'm going to dye it. So maybe I'll throw these into dye tonight. Yeah, and then this can get my undivided attention tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to dye these tonight. And then tomorrow we'll be able to start working on this because it's top. Then I can get some work on this done before I can start the Cardi, and then I'll start the Cardi. I can start the Cardi immediately because I can still show you the rest of the yarn that I do because I got like 7 of these. Anyway, I'll figure out what I'm going to do. But I guess I just decided to dye more than I was planning on, so anyway, it'll be just a plain black top. There won't be any mohair in it or anything, but it'll be fine. I'll wear it. It's just 100% superwash. I don't think that's going to be a problem. If I use, yeah, this is superwash, right? Yeah, maybe that's why I'm having this problem here. But I knew this was going to be a problem because it was circular. You know, the way the increases are, it's not going to lay because my body is not a cylinder. It's not a cylinder. So see, it's like just making a ridge right here. Like if I ate M&Ms, you could just like line them up in here, which would be nice. But it's really annoying me. And so I didn't take the end off of this on any of these because I think I kind of knew it wasn't the best design. So once I know how big I have to go with these in this because they have the same gauge at the thing. They have the same gauge, okay? Because this is two together and this is just one. So all I have to do is this, and then I'll know it'll translate immediately to these. Like I won't have to do any extra work like figuring out stitch counts or anything because it's the same. But it's easier to rip out if it's just this. So I was thinking I got a lot of these that I'm going to want to do with the I think modifying the neck made it so it's just the way it sits. It's just, and I knew this was going to happen. But I wanted to see if it would fit here. And since we've got it fitting here, I think that gives us the end, you know, what we have to work up to. At least to the bust, and then just keep going. Maybe until the whole end, until the ribbing, maybe? I don't even know, because I've never attempted like a raglan poncho, and I don't even know what to call this, because I'm gonna have to write it up, right, and give it to you guys once, because it's changed so much from the original that it's not even a cowl anymore. I don't even like calling it a cowl because you don't wear it as a cowl. And everything's gonna change. The stitch counts changed. The placement of the increases is going to change because we're going to change them to raglans. So all the numbers are changed. It's a completely different thing, which is weird that I started with the cowl and then kept modifying it until I got this cape thing that I really wanted. I don't think I could find a cape that I wanted, and I actually did this first one started because I wanted to use mohair, right? Yeah, so that wasn't even a thought in my mind, I don't think. So once I modified the neck, I was like, oh, we could modify like the whole thing to be the cape with the slits, right? So I'm going to dye these and start working on one of these with the raglans. Finished objects for February. What I finished in February. We're going to start with the Garter Snake Cowl. Garter Snake Cowl by Lavagna Patricella. This was done with 2 skeins of Wool to Dye 4's MCN High Twist. That's Merino Cashmere Nylon, 80-10-10 Merino Cashmere Nylon with a high twist. 400 yards, 200 grams. 1 skein I dyed with Dharma's Cabernet at 1%, and then I black speckled a little bit, but you really could not tell. The second skein was done with ProChem Black at 4%. Oh my god, look, you can see the colors. Oh my gosh, it's a miracle. I think this is the first time I've shown you this out here. So this, oh my god, it's full of cat hair. So like I was saying, up in the garter, you can see both colors. And if I do this, I think they're pretty much the same. Yeah, they're pretty much the same. This is reversible. So you see, they're both the same. They're both garters. This is the same. Now, where you get the difference is here in the brioche, which I still, that's from my soap. Remember? Soap. So on this side, it is black. The black is dominant and the red is in between, but if you flip to the other side, it's the opposite. The red is dominant and the black is on the inside. So it really depends on what you like, and like I said, if you're wearing a lot of black, you could turn it out to the red side, but if you're not, you could turn it to the black side. Or if you're just like me and you just like a lot of black, you can. But now you can see how low contrast this is. You can actually see it. It's washing out that black, but you can finally see it, so that's cool. So that's the first thing we did. Oh, and then we have Carrie. This is Carrie by me, Morning Dew Studio. Carrie is a top-down triangle in fingering weight, and the first 50 grams is done in stockinette, and then the last 50 is done in this mesh lace. And then you end with 3 garter ridges and a bind. I think it's Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off I did. Really like it for these shawls. It really gets them as big as you can and opens up the lace. This is Laughing Cat Fibers. This colorway is Laughing Cat Fibers. Descent on her MCN fingering base. Oh my god, I got all that right. Yeah. So this is a great, I love this base. So like soft, so luxurious. I absolutely love it. I love this. I love having the half and half too. This is one of my favorites. I love stockinette. I am one of the people that I love stockinette. I love the V's. I love this, what do people call this? Pooling. I love this. I love how it looks. I absolutely love how it looks. I don't even care when it pools. I just love it. It's one of those unpredictable parts of the art that you can't replicate. And in this particular instance, you can't plan. Like, there is such a thing as planned pooling, where you make things that look kind of like argyle, like diamonds, and it's really, really cool. I don't do any of that. I think that's a crochet thing. I'm not sure if that's a knit thing. I'm not sure. But I love this the way it is. It's just from the way the yarn is dyed. It has nothing to do with what you do. It's just the kind of the yarn doing its thing. And I kind of like that because, number one, you don't have to do anything. It just happens. And I don't mind if it pools. Like, I think over here it pooled a little bit of the pink. I love that. It does not bother me at all. I don't get bothered. Even in the V-back tee that we no longer talk about, it pooled quite significantly where it had big spots of the burgundy and big spots of the gray. And I knew that was going to happen because it was a half and half skein. I knew, because that's pretty long, that I knew it was going. Now these have shorter repeats in between the colors where it's not a full skein of the color. Okay, so you could see how, like, this black, goes from here to here. So that's hardly anything. Let's look here. Let's see when that's, okay, this white, the white's right there. So they're not very long. So you wouldn't get a lot of pooling in this. I'm surprised we got, I mean, these aren't all the same pink, so that's probably why. I love this. Bit of black right in the front. But these are my favorite kinds because you can't plan it and it's just what happens. It's just what happens. Oh my gosh, this isn't even on the list. This is Michelle, who isn't even on the list. Poor Michelle. That's okay, she's my favorite. So Michelle is similar to the Carrie in that she has stocking knit. Okay, let me give you all this stuff first. This is Michelle by me, Morning Dew Studio. This yarn is Honey Girl Farms. Slytherins Are Brave 2. Don't know the base. I'm pretty sure it's a sock base, like 437. Now I gotta look it up because I forgot to bring. I actually took it. I actually had the thing and put it where I keep them when I'm done, and I'm not done. So obviously, I still need this. Honey Girl Farms Pure Sock. 437 yards, 100 grams. Slytherins are brave too. All of my projects will be in my Ravelry page, so you can refer to them for any of the not ingredients details. Any of the details that you need will be in, everything's in my Ravelry pages. If you cannot access Ravelry and you need to know, I'm sure I've talked about them in other videos, but if you don't know which video and you don't want to go watch them all, if you shoot me a message, I'll copy what I have in Ravelry and send it to you if you can't access Ravelry. It's just easiest for me to keep everything there, because then I won't lose it. And it's safe there. It won't get erased or thrown away or eaten by a dog. So Michelle and Carrie are very, very similar, both top-down triangle shawls. They both start the same way, and they both use the same stitches, stitches, and they're both stockinette and mesh lace. It's just that the Michelle has more repeats of those two, where Carrie only has one. She's got half is one and half is the other. And this we go 5 and 5 repeats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 repeats. And the fun thing about this is at the end on your last lace, bit is. So, okay, what I was saying is, if you don't like that much stockinette, like half of it, you don't want half of it stockinette, but you like the look of stockinette, I would do this one, because the fun part about this is that each stockinette part is different in here, and so is the lace. So you get more like, this looks great plain. They all look good plain, and they also all look good in heavy variegations. So if you don't like so much of this, you can do this, and it won't be too much. I absolutely love using really loud colors for this. I'm so excited about this one. Like, I'm going to wear this with an all black outfit. It's going to look fantastic. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. I've had this for like 2 years and been waiting to have it done. I'm so excited. Like, this was one project I wanted to have done for this summer so I could wear, because I have lots of all black. So I was like, yes, this is going to be my, where am I going to go? We're still not going anywhere. I have no fiber festivals planned, so there's nowhere for me to wear this anyway. But I'm so glad I'm really, really glad this is done. I've been looking forward to this since I got it. I knew what I wanted to do with it. Well, I was going to do the changing staircases, and then the staircase part made me insane, and I was like, oh, can we do this top down instead? I just think she's gorgeous. I'm so proud of this one. I'm very, very glad to have that done. Very happy to have, and very thankful to Honey Girl Farms for putting out this it's an absolutely beautiful colorway. It's just gorgeous. I did have a little bit of crocking while I was working on it. My finger was turning green, and then I did have some green in the water. Not enough to backstain, thank goodness. But the light grays are still light gray. They're not green or anything. So don't get scared. I think she's all right. I think she's all right with her dyeing. I think she did much better than Mad Tosh for me. So yeah, I was terrified because of the green. I was like, oh my god, after the Mad Tosh debacle. What I want to say is, when you get to you work 5 of these, and I keep track of my repeats here. So my first repeat, actually Okay, I did not take I don't know why. I have gotten away from my habit of weighing skeins as soon as I take them up. I don't know why, but that was my habit. And somehow this year, or like last year, it's gone out the window. And I don't know why. And I'm always like, what did this start as? I don't know. I didn't write it down. It started when I started these. That's what did it. So December. So for 2 months, I've completely forgot. So anyway, I did not do a startup, but so I did the first repeat, second, third, fourth, fifth. So, okay, this is what was left. So this is what that repeat cost me in yarn. Okay. No, this is what was, reverse that. This is what was left. So this is what that one cost me. So you see the last one of 29, 22, we have 17 done. We have 17 left. We know we can't do another repeat here. So what we do is we take that 17. And what I did right here is, okay, so this is all done by weight. We know that, right? So I know from doing this before that my bind off is probably going to cost me, I always say cost, 2.5 grams. And that's pretty standard. So I need at least 2.5 grams. I'd like a little bit more than 2.5 grams, just because. So I just, as a way to guesstimate what I need, I do this. So I count my rows. So I'm going to need to do a bind off. I'm going to need the third ridge. I'm going to need a right side row. I'm going to need a second ridge and a right side row. I'm going to need a first ridge and a right side row. So that is the setup to that's the ending of the shawl. So all that's left there between that and where we're at after the 8 that the pattern calls for, we just fill in. We just keep going with the back and forth mesh. So it's 2 rows of mesh, okay? So I need at least this number, 10.27. I need at least 10.27 to start this round. And this is what my guesstimation is. So this is where I actually was. So you can see I'm just above it every time. And that's a good way to figure out where you are. So anytime you dip, if something takes you longer and you dip down, you can skip and go wherever you need to go. But this, okay, so when I got here, I had 375. Is that 75? I had 375 left after my third ridge, and then I did the bind off, and then I had 105 left, which means that was what I cut off, actually. Did I bring it? Of course I did. So I cut this off because this was too much to weave in. So I cut off what I thought I would use to weave in and then weighed. So that was 105. So it actually 2.70 did my bind off and my sewing and ends. So my 2.5 was probably under a little bit, but I always put up a little bit more. So 270 would probably be the least amount I could get away with, because then I could still weave in my ends. And I actually, there wasn't even anything to cut because I weaved them in until they stopped. I think this one I was much closer because I actually have the end woven in but not cut. So this is even less than that. We got even closer on that. So it really depends. Like these are also 2 different bases used on the same thing. And there's a lot of different ways to fudge the end of that. I'm trying to think. So because I was left with 17, right? And we had to go to 1027. So I kept doing rows. And then we got to 11:38, right? So 11:38 is when I stopped. Right. No, 10:90. So here I had 7. Okay. I'll give you a little bit more insight how I do this. So 77, right? So from what I could gather, so I took, okay, on my last repeat, I measured after these, after the stockinette, so I could start with the mesh, because then I could weigh this specific mesh part, which I knew was going to be 16 rows, and I could divide that by 16, and it would tell me how much each row was going to cost me in weight. And that was 1.11. 1.11 per row, roughly, because as you're adding stitches, each row is going to be more, you know what I mean? But it was a rough estimate. It was something for me to start with. So what I did here is I went 17, 77. So I did one repeat, which is front and back, one hole. Okay, so that was 9 hole, 10 hole. Wait, that was 8th hole? That was not 8th hole. Oh, yes, it was, because that's where we started. 8. So the ninth hole left us with 15, and the 11th hole left us with 13, and then the, where am I going? 10, 11 left us with 1091. So obviously there we have to stop because we're at close to 1027, right? 1027 was our thing. So we can't get another row in. So then we started right here with our right side. So right next to it is my guesstimations that we have, so I know if I'm on track. So these are my real numbers, what I actually used, what we had left, and all that. Okay. That is why I love my shawl so much, is you can use up to the very last bit of your yarn. You don't have to waste any, and you don't have to be worried. You don't have to be worried about running out, because you're not going to run out, because you're seeing what your absolute minimum is. I'm trying to figure out how I came up with the bind-offs, and I think that's just keeping track of when I did bind-offs. When I did the bind-offs of everything, I usually write down what the bind-off cost me. I always say cost me, but I mean in weight, in yarn. So 270 is probably a good, solid one to stay with, but it's going to change when your yarn changes. Probably not by enough to be of any significance, but it will. I mean, if you're changing the weight, probably too, but I haven't looked at. Oh no, I didn't do these in any other weight. I'd have to go back to my Eleanor's and all of my sideways garters and see how those were, because I don't remember. It's been so long, I've forgotten. Okay, what else? I didn't even put that on the list. Oh, we did this top. Audine Wool's Calm. This blue, this gorgeous blue. This top is also by me, but it is, I mean, it's only to my size. It's not an actual pattern. I mean, it's a pattern for me. Audine Wool's Calm in the colorway Epiphany. And this wool is 80-10-10 wool silk mohair. Okay, this is from Knitcrate, and the top is it's not really a pattern. It's based off a pattern that I don't remember. Girly Knits Bra Top by Lauren Riker. So the construction of that was bottom up, and I wanted it top down. So I came up with, actually, I didn't even come up with the cup. Some lady did. So I took her stuff and reworked it into the worsted, because that's a worsted version, and then I wanted a DK version, so I worked up all the math into a DK version. And now I'm going to do the same with sport eventually. Our next finished object is this heavily modified Bonjour from Asphyxiation Choker. The merino strand is by Yarn Over New York. The colorway is called Black Opal on her Wave Hill base, which is a superwash merino zebra base. The mohair lace is from Wool to Die For, and I dyed that with ProChem's black at 4%. Okay, and I desperately want to redo this. Okay, so next, you have seen my Asphyxiation by Disorder knits. This is done in size 10 thread. And then I used snaps to put it together. Snaps. And I hate lace, you guys. I hate lace. I don't hate doing it. I hate blocking it because it never, I don't know how to block it, I guess, is my problem. And it must be something with cotton that it just attracts cat hair and lint and dog hair and everything like it's a magnet, like it's ridiculous. Also, I frogged my other choker that I had. Remember our crochet projects this month were chokers. So this one I had shown you was clusters, and it was a little too thick on my neck, a little too black. Didn't like it. So instead I did this, which has some chain spaces and some picots. And I got this from Crochet Easy Choker by Kiki Crochet Patterns on YouTube. However, mine was done a little bit differently. I used a size 3 thread, and I used a 3.5 hook to do a foundation, single crochet foundation chain, because I didn't know how big this was going to need to be. So I made the foundation chain with a 3.5, because I always make that a little bit bigger, because then I go down a size to work into it. But I find it just fits better. Otherwise, my foundation chain is not as, bouncy, elastic as the rest of it, So going up one for me fixes that. So I don't know how many chains I did until it looked like it was going to fit around my neck, and then I blocked it. I pulled it out and blocked it. And then after that, I went in and saw like how many of these I was going to get. And then for the ends, I just did 3 on both ends, so I could I could sew the snap on. So I did 3, and then it's still a multiple of 3. So as long as you keep a multiple of 3, you're fine. If you want to do 3, just regular 3 single crochets on the end, and then start the pattern, because then it's skip 2, chain 3, skip 2. Yeah, so it's 3. And then on the last row you do the picots. So this hasn't been, the top of it's been blocked, but the rest of it hasn't been blocked. So I sewed the snaps in though. I don't know why I went with snaps, I just did. So this is a cute, like that one I told you where he asked her why she wore a thing, don't be sorry. Or don't untie it, you'll be sorry. Or don't take it off, you'll be whatever, and her head falls off. No one's gonna know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that charming little story. I thought the clusters were a little too, because I have this giant one, right? And I was like, I wanted something a little more delicate. But doing it in the size 10 thread made it a little too delicate. So the 3 I think is like just right, so I can have something plain and something more ornate. I did have one more that I wanted to do that I didn't have time to get through, so if we're ever, if we ever don't have a crochet item for that month, which is a possibility. Also, do you want to know a secret? One of our crochet projects, I'm not even kidding you, is going to be arm warmers. Okay, because first of all, I have this crochet pattern that I've had for, oh my God, I don't even know how long, at least like 10 years I've had this pattern, I think at least 10 years. And I never made them. But I still like, I saw it, I'm like, still like, oh, I still like these. I like these a lot. So I still want to make them. And I was like, oh, that'll be a fast project. We could do 2 arm warmers. And they're kind of big ones too. They're kind of like full. I'm not doing no dinky, glove. It's a full thing. But because it's worsted weight and crochet, it's not going to take nearly as long as it would as a knit. So I think that's the only way we're getting arm warmers done. So, okay, that is everything I have finished. So that was Garter Snake Cowl, Carrie, Michelle, the top, the Bonjour, and 2 chokers. So that is 7 things we finished this month, which is a lot, right? Holy crap, we did that many. Plus these 2. 7 things. That's so many. I don't even feel like we did that many, or that I don't feel that exhausted either, which is weird. I'm trying to think if I have anything coming. I don't think I have anything coming. I got some oils today. I don't know if any of you guys are into oils. So we have episodes that don't have any topic yet. So I was wondering, next week is March Dye Project, and the week after that is an unnamed episode. So I was wondering if anyone would be interested in making their own hand cream that I make. There's actually 2 different kinds I make, but I also got some new oils. I get my oils from a shop called Rainforest Chica, which is a lady named Chris, and she actually goes to Brazil. I think she's from Brazil. She has a nice accent, and she goes down to Brazil, and she all of her stuff is fair trade, and it's locally sourced from sustainable places in Brazil. So you're helping the locals that she buys from. So she makes sure, she goes down there and makes sure that everything is kosher and everything's all right. I would be terrified, but I'm pretty sure she's from there, so that's probably why she's not afraid. But yeah, she goes. I love seeing pictures of her trips. It's really, really fun. And then like she tells you all about the oils, where they're from, and it's really fun. And she's always posting pictures of her doing these clay masks. It's hilarious. I really enjoy her as a person. I think she's a really good person, and she saves animals. She saves dogs. So I really, really like her. Anyway, I ordered some oils from her, and I'm going to be doing a hair mask and also it's a hair mask, but you can use it as a temporary mask, or you can use it as like a leave-in, which I got from my really, really dry hair. So she makes it like a DIY pack. So you just melt the butters and add the oils. And when it's cooled down, you whip it. And that's so she can ship during the warm months and doesn't have to worry about her. If you buy a whipped product and you ship, it's going to melt, and then it's not going to be that whipped consistency anymore. So I like the DIY stuff because I can make it my own. I can add stuff in it, add stuff to it. Like if you want to add a fragrance, if you want to add an essential oil, you can do that. Plus, it doesn't matter if they melt on the way here because she has them in these plastic sealed things. So you just stand it upright and stick it in the fridge, and it'll all come down and turn back into a butter, so you can get everything out. Anyway, I got a hair mask, and then I got something else. it was a new oil, Pecky, I forget which Peck is, because she pronounces them with her accent and I don't know how to say it. It was something that she's never bought for us before, so she made a lip balm with it, and I was like, oh, lip balm, yes. So I want to make a lip balm with those, and then I think I had enough left over that I could also make, I think, another hair mask maybe out of it. So I was going to make those two things. So 2 hair masks and lip balm. And I'm almost out of my body butter that I make. So I was going to make that. And then I also make a hand cream. Because when I'm fostering kittens, I have to wash my hands a whole lot. Like I have to start with clean hands. Well, I don't put the stuff on, but I wash my hands and then I touch everything, and then I have to wash my hands, and then if I have another litter, I have to do it again. So like it's a whole protocol. So you can't, because you can't touch, if you have 2 litters, you can't touch in between the litters. So you do 1 litter and then you wash, and then you do another litter and then you wash. So I wash my hands every 2 hours. I wash my hands a whole lot of times. So after when I'm all done with everything and I'm washing my hands for the last time, I put this cream on that I made. And I have not had any cracking hands since then. And I think it's a real good way, if you have trouble with your skin from working with wools and stuff, if you find your hands drying out, stuff like that. And that one has nothing weird in it. Everything you can buy from Amazon, or I buy locally from a place called Bulk Apothecary, which doesn't always have stuff in stock. But if there's some place local to you, it doesn't take that many weird oils, butters. Probably not butters you have, but anyway, I was wondering if anyone might be interested in that. I might give you my recipes for that, and I'm not going to do it on, I'm not going to like actually make it on camera for you, because it's just using a double boiler and waiting for everything to melt and then putting it in the fridge, and then when it's solid you use a hand mixer with wire whisks and until it's fluffy, and then you put it in a container. So I could step by step, but you don't need to, it's very easy, you don't need to see it be actually done. So I was thinking I might give you that, but I don't know if anyone's interested in that. And since there's only 10 of you, doesn't matter. I could probably just talk about whatever I want to talk about, because it's kind of related to knitting in that it's your skincare for your hands. But I'm saying the timing of this one is right because I'm going to be making more anyway, and because I'm going to make the hair masks too. So I was thinking it might be nice to have, pass along that information if you want it. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to dye all this stuff now that we're doing so much more than we were doing before. I'm excited to get the raglan started on this, because if I can do that, then I can redo all of these in the raglan, which is going to take a while. But this could also take over the tops, because I mean I do have a million tops. It's not like I need to get all the tops done, so I'd like to have these ready for fall. Especially this one. Anyway, yeah, so yeah. Or if you have another idea for, I can't take you through my stash out here, so I think that one's going to be too far in the, I don't know that I had any while I was in there that didn't have a thing. Yeah, I didn't have any of them in there that had a thing. So it's going to be March 18th. So unless there's a snowstorm, we're going to be out here. So if there isn't a snowstorm, then I guess I'll do the stash. I mean, the stash is always in the back of my mind when we, I mean, there's also, we'll see, those 2 in December are probably going to be the prepping and planning like we did last. Say hello, Brienne. She just jumped up on me and scared me. Hi, Kitty. So anyway, yeah, gotta figure out what to do for that open episode. I didn't like the last one that ended up being my dream wardrobe, which was a great topic. I just wish I had figured it out before I was sitting here talking about it. I don't like to be unprepared, if you haven't noticed. I do not like to be unprepared. It bothers me immensely. Anyway, take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week for Dye Project. Okay? Goodbye.